We're now going to look at some review of the last assessment task from Term 2. And the first one we're going to look at is question 1. Question 1 was a 3-mark question. And the question read, describe the initial planning considerations for a team looking to improve their performance. The 3-mark question, obviously, we would expect most boys to get 3 marks here if you're able to follow the procedures of looking at what the question is asking you, how it's going to improve performance, and then relate it back to the content covered. So if we have a look at the glossary of terms, that's a description we're asking for here, and for a description we're asking you to provide characteristics and features of. So what are the elements of these different areas of initial planning, and how are they different from each other? That's what the response is asking us to look at in this particular point. If we look at the dot points from the syllabus, what are the planning considerations for improving performance? So reminding you all that everything should relate back to improving performance in this unit that we're looking at. The things that we're learning about are the dot point of initial planning considerations, performance and fitness needs, individual and team. Obviously we're looking at the team focus in this particular one. We're looking at the scheduling of events and competition, and the climate and season, and how those all impact upon the consideration of planning for the coach. The students will learn to describe specific considerations of planning for performance in events and competitions. How would planning different from elite athletes to recreational amateur participants? So the Board of Studies requires you to understand what the initial considerations are, and then to have an understanding of the differentiation between those considerations for an elite athlete and a recreational athlete. The responses, most responses were able to give a good account of what the initial planning considerations were, and that needed to be related back to how it's going to improve performance. So if you simply listed them, you wouldn't have got the full 3 marks. You needed to show an understanding of what they are, so provide what the characteristics of them are, and the better answers were able to show how they were important to improving performance. Clarity of the answers, again, we've spoken about this continually. Quite a few boys are doing the highlighting, so it makes it very clear for the marker to see that all aspects of the answer are included. And here we have the scheduling events, the climate and season, and above that we have the performance and fitness needs. The performance and fitness needs are looking at what are the requirements of the sport. So if we looked at analysis of the components of fitness that are used in that particular sport, then you would be able to make a judgment here of what it is those particular fitness needs and performance needs are. Once those judgments are made, then you can then tailor your training towards that, to ensuring that the athletes are prepared. Again, reminding you all that it needed to have an emphasis of team in this particular question, or this answer. This answer here has got an example, and whilst it talks about a marathon runner, that would be the fault that I would offer here. Scheduling of events and series of events. This involves looking at when the competition occurs, whether it's a semi-final series or whether it happens as a particular meet that happens biannually or at one part of the year. Those would be some of the things that you would consider, and as a result of that, then you could consider when training occurred and the implications upon the athlete. The climate and the season, we can see here that the considerations need to be understood as to what part of the year that the particular sport is played in. If it's a summer sport, then there'll be implications for that this particular responses mentioned acclimatisation as well, which shows a good understanding of how that would need to be considered by the coach in this particular case. They've referred to Socceroos being a team game, which is well done in this particular part. Areas where we need to improve, as I said, understanding what the key term is, and rather than just providing a list, most students, again, in their planning of the answer, were able to provide that list, and that was good. But then to provide the characteristics of and features of is what this question was asking us to do. The use of examples needed to be there to display the understanding of each of the students.